JBN, we keep you informed. Two KPH doctors test positive for COVID-19. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has revealed that two doctors at the Kingston Public Hospital, KPH, have tested positive for the coronavirus. They are now in isolation. The health minister said contact tracing is being carried out. It's not unusual. It has happened in other hospitals before, and it is something that we plan for. But it does create some downtime, some anxieties for obvious reasons. And what the team is doing is trying to address and to restore normality as quickly as possible, he said on Friday afternoon. The health minister disclosed that some services at the Kingston Public Hospital have been affected. Only emergency cases are now being handled at KPH as deep cleaning is underway.
It's not unusual. It has happened in other hospitals before, and it is something that we plan for. But it does create some downtime, some anxieties for obvious reasons. And what the team is doing is trying to address and to restore normality as quickly as possible. The areas where the doctors would have spent most of their time, as well as their own physical presence, or in this case the lack thereof, since they have been withdrawn from the environment, would mean rescheduling. It would mean some sort of contact tracing, some deep cleaning. So all of those things, again, it's standard protocol. It's a hospital, and that's where viruses are taken to be cured. So there is always going to be a risk. And when we have these cases, what the professionals do, they move in and they provide this sort of mop-up or rehabilitative services to get things back to normality. So that is what would have been taking place, but that process would involve some disruption.
56-year-old farmer held after man is beaten and chopped at Pariton. 56-year-old Michael Samuels, otherwise called Mas Perry, a farmer of Bluefields, Westmoreland, was charged on Friday, August 21, following an incident that happened in his community on Thursday, August 13. Reports from the Bluefields police are that at about 3 a.m. Samuels and the complainant were at a party when an altercation developed. The complainant was subsequently beaten and chopped several times. He was assisted to hospital where he was admitted in serious condition. An investigation was launched and Samuels was later charged for wounding with intent. He is scheduled to appear before the Savlamar Parish Court on Tuesday, September 15. Reopening of schools delay until October 5. The Ministry of Education has delayed the reopening of schools until October 5. The decision comes as the country continues to experience an alarming increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. Minister of Education Carl Samuda, in a release, said the phased reopening of school on October 5 will be a blended approach that will include face-to-face classes, online and offline computer-aided learning, as well as televised classes. The minister said it will now use the period until school reopens to distribute tablets to teachers and students at the primary level. The government said it will also buy laptops for PATH students in grades 10 to 13. Students and teachers traumatized by the ongoing pandemic will also be provided with support. The ministry said its response follows consultation with stakeholders. Pariton relieved as alleged gangster killed in Kingston. Residents of Pariton in St. Anne exhaled on Friday after the police high command disclosed that the parish's most wanted man, who was implicated in several murders and shootings in that community, was killed by the police. Described as one of Jamaica's most notorious gangsters, 34-year-old Orlando Chambers of St. Anne and Maxwell Avenue, St. Andrew, was shot dead during a confrontation with the police in Kingston about 5:50 a.m. on Thursday, August 20. Chambers, the alleged leader of the teacher gang that is based in St. Anne, was implicated in 2 double murders in Pariton over the past year, among other crimes. These include the August 2019 double murder of Lancelot White, otherwise called Buckwan, and Kemar Thomas, and the April 2020 double murder of Omar Beckford, otherwise called Omi, and Trinardo Gaynor, otherwise called Zidane, all of Pariton addresses. He was also implicated in the May 2020 shooting of a 62-year-old man, also of Pariton. The man survived the attack. We welcome the news And we look forward to hearing more news of this nature, said one female resident of Pariton who requested that her name not be mentioned. And I want to commend the police in St. Andrew for what they did. Have made the job of the police in St. Anne a bit easier. Another resident said that she was mindful of reprisals from other gang members. It is a relief, but a little bit scary, because you don't know if there will be any retaliation. People might believe somebody informed on him, she said. While Chambers' activities might not have directly impacted the business community in the wider St. Anne, President of the Parish's Chamber of Commerce, Vanna Taylor, said that any criminal activity has spin-off effects on surrounding communities. We are so happy that the police have managed to get rid of one of the most wanted persons from our parish and Jamaica. We are commending the police as usual for their fantastic work, Taylor said. Meanwhile, Ian Bell, councillor for the Beachertown division, which incorporates Pariton, said the residents are indeed relieved at the news of Chambers' demise. Everybody is feeling relieved, and I'm sure that the community of Pariton will return to its original glory, Bell responded when asked about the mood in the community. I know the residents of Pariton are relieved at his passing, and the persons are already indicating to me that, thank God, I can walk freely in this community again. Friday's police press statement said that Deputy Commissioner Fitzbailey, who heads the crime portfolio, hailed the collaborative efforts of detectives from St. Anne and the corporate area, spanning Specialized Operations, SWAT, and the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Unit. Bailey said that Chambers, who is originally from St. Anne, would direct the gang's operations from his base at Maxfield Avenue while also influencing persons in the Kingston community. He issued a stern warning to criminals. If they confront the police when the police go to apprehend them, that is going to be their fate. If they surrender, they have a chance to come and tell their story, Bailey stated. PMP pitches rent-to-own housing in election manifesto. The opposition People's National Party PMP said it plans to construct 130,000 housing solutions over 5 years to undertake a rent-to-own program if it forms the government after the September 3 general election. It said that under the program, individuals pay rent for a consistent period, a portion of which goes towards a down payment, later transitioning to ownership through a mortgage. Jamaicans seeking to own their first house may be able to claim up to 1 year's income tax for the purpose of a home purchase, the PMP said in its election manifesto released on Thursday. Neither the general manager in the construction division of the National Housing Trust (NHT) nor the relevant officer at the Housing Agency of Jamaica could be reached for comment on the feasibility of constructing 130,000 houses or 26,000 on average annually over a 5-year period. However, that could be considered ambitious, considering Prime Minister Andrew Holness's announcement during his 2018-2019 budget debate that the NHT was executing plans to build up to 22,000 housing starts for the 4-year period to 2020, the most he contended to have ever been built by any administration. The PMP said that under the program, 54,000 houses will go to the general public, 25,000 to youth under 35 years old, and 5,000 each to teachers, hospitality workers, nurses, public transport workers, household helpers and gardeners, security guards, public sector workers, and the police. 1,000 homes will be allocated to the disabled community, 3,000 to vendors, and 2,000 to soldiers. The party said it would work with mortgage lenders to offer a 2-year hard times payment moratorium to give Jamaicans hit by financial fallout a buffer to recover and to save their homes. The PMP pledged to work with the University of Technology, School of Architecture to establish a bank of architectural designs pre-approved by parish councils and available to the public with only land appropriateness checks needed to be done. Realtor Deborah Cumming, founder, chairperson, and managing director of Hevo Properties, said that if the rent-to-own concept meant that a portion of the rent would pay the purchase price, that basically was a vendor's mortgage. In Jamaica, it does happen from time to time, but it is usually done on an individual basis, she said, adding that I've never heard of the government doing that. Cummings suggested that under such a scheme, the NHT or another institution might be the mortgagee. In a rent-to-own agreement, one party rents a house for a certain period with the option to buy it before the lease expires. Rent-to-own agreements consist of 2 parts, a standard lease agreement and an option to buy. St. Mary Manchester on trial for cousin's murder. 21-year-old Emilio Williams, a farmer of Karen Hall in Highgate, St. Mary, is scheduled to reappear before the St. Mary Parish Court on Thursday, October 8, to answer to the charge of murder. Allegations are that on Monday, August 10, the accused had a dispute with his cousin, 27-year-old Kevon Hyatt, otherwise called Jojo. The police said a machete and a ground fork were brought into play and that both parties received injuries and were transported to hospital. Hyatt died whilst being treated, while Williams was treated and released into police custody. Williams was subsequently charged on Monday, August 17, following a question and answer interview with police. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.